Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be doing my 222nd Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being of the G.I. Joe Duke. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see some really cool vintage artwork with that classic G.I. Joe burst behind him. And if we turn the box around, we get an image of the figure breaking down all of his accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe.
Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at Duke here. Now I think this pretty much rounds out the Mezco G.I. Joe figures that have already been announced and revealed. I can't remember if there are any other that have been revealed, so if there are, just feel free to drop a comment and let me know. But this rounds out the ones that we've seen and known about so far. And this is really cool, man. Of course, you got to have Duke in the line. I think this looks awesome. I do wish the color of the shirt was just a little, I don't know, darker or dirtier, but it does look really nice. I love the cuff sleeves going up like that. All the stitching on things like the pockets right there, and then the seam line going down for his, button down looks really, really good. I love this little harness that they got going around over him like this with actual working like buckles and little metal clasps and things like that. All of that looks really good. You got a belt here. This pouch is removable. You can go ahead and take that off. But I love this, man. All the little extra detail you get in that looks really, really cool. I love his little combat cargo pants with the actual pockets. These don't actually function. They can't open the pockets, so you can't put nothing in there. They're kind of like stitched closed, so that kind of sucks. Wah wah. But I do like the pants themselves. That really nice military green. He got, of course, some real military combat boots. Look really good. I love that kind of like worn leather look that we get with those. You can see the details on things like the laces, the tread on the feet with some peg holes. These look really, really good, man. I really do like this. Now, one thing I noticed from what I've seen in some other pictures before, the skin tone was a little weird in my opinion. And honestly, me looking at it under the lights, it doesn't look that bad. It was just a really awkward skin tone for Duke. I think he probably could be a little bit paler, but it's still not bad. I actually really still do like it. It's just, especially in hand, it looks a lot better in hand than what I've seen in other images, again, online that I've seen floating, where he just looks a little too dark and a little too tanned, and it doesn't even really look like a natural skin tone, so it was a little weird. But again, in person, and then even here in front of my lights, I think it looks a lot better than other photos that I've seen. So again, I really do like it, man. Again, just very happy to get Duke, and of course, any Joe in the 112 Collective line. So now moving on to accessories, we of course do get the Mezco circular base stand with the G.I. Joe logo done in green like this, as we've seen with all the G.I. Joe faction from this line. And of course we do get the clear articulated arm. We also do get a bunch of interchangeable hands, different types of gripping hands, trigger finger hands, closed-fisted hands, more looser gripping hands. We got a saluting hand, a finger pointing hand. We also got the one on the very bottom right. I don't know why, but every time I see that hand, as soon as I pull it out of the package, I was like, isn't that Thing from the Addams Family? How he's kind of like perched on his fingertips and kind of like running around? Isn't that what he looks like? You know, when he jumps on people's shoulders and things like that? I don't know. Is that just me, or does that look like Thing? But still, I think it looks freaking awesome, man. I do, again, love all the different hands that we get. So we do got a bunch of smaller types of weapons. So we got like this really cool pistol here. I don't know if it's a freaking Glock. I don't know my guns, but I love the holster like that with the little silver, the different types of green and the little silver bits of paint here. You of course can just pull it out. And I think that's a really cool gun, man. I think it looks nice. You can cock it back with a little bit of silver peeking out through there. The magazine is removable. You do get an extra magazine, so I do like that. We also do get this really cool knife like that. Just has a LCD and a sheath, so you can actually just pop this out, and has a nice black blade. You can just put it back in there, and it does come out one of the sides if you need if you're having trouble kind of figuring out. One of the sides does kind of like spring open like that, and you can see they do have little clips right there, so you can put them on the belt. Same thing with these types of grenades. You do have 2 different types of grenades, and you do get a few of each of these. Now these grenades will be able to fit on the back of the belt. You have a little hoops right here where you can take these types of grenades and then stick them in the back like that. And then same thing with the gun and that does clip onto the belt itself. The same thing with the knife. So you want to clip him, or excuse me, load him up with his smaller accessories. You can do that. We do get other small accessories, like things like this cantina, which I think is great. It has the G.I. Joe logo actually on there. I think it's awesome. I do not think the cap is removable. I tried to, but it wasn't coming off. So that's a really cool little extra that you get. You get things like these binoculars that I think are really, really rad. I wish I kind of had like a strap or something that could hang from his neck or something like that. But I love like the gold painted lenses like that. I think that looks super dope, man. Love stuff like this, all these like the military gear. And again, I've said this many times, you know, Mezco really excels in the accessories, and just getting stuff like this, even if you don't want to use them for G.I. Joe, I mean, getting things like a canteen and binoculars is always really cool to get in a line like this at this scale. We also get this really rad little walkie-talkie, which I think is cool. Lots of great little paint detail on all the different buttons. Like antenna kind of looks a little dirty and washed and on stuff like that, so I like that. Very, very cool. You have whatever this thing is. Again, I don't know my guns. Some type of rifle, machine gun thing. I don't know, but it looks really good. The magazine is removable. You can see the painted bullet in there. I think that's super dope. You do get extra magazine of that kind. You get pretty much extra magazines of every gun from like every Mezco figure. But again, the paint looks really great on this. What I do like about this one is you can modify it a little bit. So it comes with this little extra handle that you kind of like slide on there if you want to do that. It also comes with, I believe this is called a suppressor. I know people call it a silencer, but I'm pretty sure it's just called a suppressor. So you can add that on there. I think that's super dope. That is a really fun gun. So that's probably going to be the one I display him with. I don't know. But what is also really cool, you get this freaking monstrous thing. So here's the other gun I just showed. This is a bigger, beefier gun. This is more of a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher, excuse me. This thing is huge. It's almost a little ridiculously huge, and it kind of reminds me of those big gaudy weapons that the Joes from like the early to mid 90s came with, you know, just like those ridiculously sized guns, you know what I mean? So, but I still think this is so awesome. The paint is so dope, even on the front of the barrel here. Look how that black kind of fades into that tan. I think this thing looks so freaking good, man. The scope looks great. Again, the magazine comes out. You do get an extra one of those. I also like the fact that we get a bipod for this. The same thing. This kind of just slides onto the front like that. Maybe this way, right here like that. And then you can open this up. And you get some more prone type of posing and have them shooting this grenade launcher like that. You do get some effect pieces. Again, we've seen these effects before with plenty of other Mezco figures, but we do get this newer one that actually has like a grenade being launched out of it. And this is kind of, you can see how it's kind of thinner right here. That's because it goes deep into the barrel of this grenade launcher and just get it in there. So if you want to have that type of effect, that's super dope, man. You know what? Now that I'm playing with this gun a little more, I'm probably going to have them on display with this thing just because I think it's so ridiculous and big and awesome looking. That is a big beefy weapon. So I do like that one quite a bit. Oh, one other thing I forgot to show off. We get this, I'm a sucker for a tactical shovel. So, you know, this thing can fold like that, and this can fold there, and you can use that to either dig a trench of some sort. You can use it as a weapon. You know, you have the one side that can double as a saw, so you get the little saw teeth on there. I think that's really, really cool, man. I love that accessory. One of the best things that you're definitely going to want to use, his backpack. I love all the different colors here that you see. You got the straps, it just kind of goes over the arms, you know, pretty easy. But I love all the different detail and pouches and pockets and things like that. It looks really, really cool. These straps right here are actually another fabric. So, you know, if you want to store something else in there, like another gun or whatever you want to do, you can use those. They're elastic, so you can kind of put something in there. You do have this kind of like blanket or a towel, whatever you want to use. It can come out and unfold and unwind, so that is really cool. But these things also open up from the top here, like that. And you can store whatever you want in there and put other things in that, so that works out pretty good. We also do get this extra blanket. Not really a blanket or a towel again, but you can just use it wherever you want. I've seen people wrap it over his head and things like that to protect him from the sun and stuff like that. So that's really cool. So really great accessories. You also do get his helmet, which I think is nice too. I'll probably have him with the helmet on. That looks really good. Again, I love the dirtiness. You can kind of see the metal peeking through and things. That's really awesome. And then the best accessory of all time is the mud splash footprint thing. That is crazy. It looks like he's stepping in a big pile of turds and it's just splattering up. That is a fun accessory and definitely one of the coolest things I've ever seen a figure come with. Now, the last accessories we're going to talk about are all 3 interchangeable heads that come with this figure. So you got the more standard head that he looks pretty stoic and mean and straightforward and things like that. I do love that one quite a bit. I absolutely love the more smiling head. I just think it looks so good. Again, that is a very classic Duke looking type of head sculpt, which I think looks great. Then you have that more angry yelling head, which again looks awesome, man, like he's leading the Joes in the battle. I mean, all 3 of these are really, really good. And again, I've seen different images where the skin tone looks really, really weird. But again, in person and then with my lights and things like that, I think he looks a lot better. And then come on, man, look at that smiling Duke head with the saluting hand. That is like totally, and knowing is half the battle type of Duke right there. So I think that's super dope. These head sculpts are fantastic in my opinion. Now let's go ahead and break down the articulation. The head and the neck are on ball pegs, so it rolls around just like so, looks up that far, down that much, and then pivot side to side. Arms can go all the way up. You have to kind of manipulate the material to get the arms all the way up, down, up and out about that far. Rotate at the upper bicep. We got double jointed elbows where you can kind of do the Hulk Hogan listening to the crowd thing. That just happened to work that way. Rotation at the wrist as well as the hinge at the wrist. We get to do a double ball peg in the midsection. That actually feels really, really nice. Does turn left and right. Crunches back about that far. Crunches forward about that much. Pivot side to side. So lots of good motion there, I think. Hip joints get kicked forward and up that far. That's pretty good. Back, not so much. Splits out about that far. So that could be better. Rotation of the upper thigh. Double jointed knees where he can kick himself in his own butt. Rotation at the boot there. And the ball pegs for the ankles. You can go rotate left and right, up and down, and a pretty decent ankle rocker. So overall, again, I'm just glad to get more Joes. Duke has never been one of my favorite characters. I've just never been super into him. I don't know what it is. He's kind of a plain Jane in my opinion. But he's still cool, man. You gotta have Duke. He's one of those staple and main characters in G.I. Joe. Really happy to have him in the Mezco line.
So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to a Mythic Legion Scapular and Mafex Bane. And for some Mezco comparison, here he is standing next to both Snake Eyes and Heavy Duty. And for even more Mezco comparison, here he is standing next to Storm Shadow, Destro, and Firefly. And for even more Joe comparison, here he is standing next to the only other Duke figure I need, being the G.I. Joe Classified Tiger Force Duke. So there it is, guys, my review of the Mezco Duke. Now honestly, I am very surprised at how much I actually do like this one. Compared to all the other G.I. Joe Mezco figures that we have gotten, he was my least anticipated one, as I just never really cared about Duke. He's just kind of a plain military dude, which I know some people like, but for me, I like the more weirdos, so still, having him in hand, he's a lot cooler than I thought he was going to be. I absolutely love his guns, especially things like that grenade launcher. I love all of his accessories, like the backpack, the helmet, all the different types of soft goods, like those different types of blankets and things like that. I love a good tactical shovel. I just love that thing. But he's a really awesome piece, man, and essential if you're going to have a Mezco G.I. Joe line. Some of my gripes would be, I really don't like the color of the shirt all that much. I just wish it was a little bit darker, but that could be me just nitpicking. Also, the articulation can be a little bit hindered with the soft goods, so if you don't mind manipulating the fabric to, get those better poses, he's still going to be kind of a pain in the butt, but I think you'll still enjoy him. You can get some really cool shots out of him. He's an awesome piece, man. I really just love what Mezco has been doing with the G.I. Joe license. I hope we get a ton more again. I think this is all of the ones that they've revealed so far. They haven't shown us anything beyond this point, so hopefully we get a lot more because there are more characters I definitely do want. This is honestly such an impressive piece, much more impressive than I ever anticipated, and for me, he is definitely a must-get. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.